Hello and welcome to 7 Days. I'm Zack Yusof here with a quick recap of some of the more fascinating stories from the last 7 days. Comedian Bill Cosby has been charged with sexually assaulting a woman back in 2004 after plying her with drugs and alcohol. The charges mark the only criminal case against the once beloved performer who has been accused by more than 50 other women of sexual misconduct going back decades. The police complaint filed against 78-year-old Cosby on behalf of Andrea Constant alleges that Cosby plied Constant with drugs and alcohol before he assaulted her. It marks the only criminal case against a once-beloved performer whose father figure persona has been damaged by dozens of misconduct accusations. Many of the accusations occurred decades ago and the statute of limitations for prosecuting them has long expired. Cosby posted $1 million bail, turned over his passport, and indicated in court that he understood questions that were posed to him. Wow, truly shocking stuff. Okay, next up, a new book to be published in Hong Kong in the new year speculates that Zhou Enlai, Communist China's much respected first premier, was probably gay despite his long marriage. It is a contention certain to be controversial in China, where the Communist Party likes to maintain its top leaders are more or less morally irreproachable, and where homosexuality is frowned upon, though no longer officially repressed. The Hong Kong-based author Choi Wing-mui is a former editor at the liberal political magazine there, who has written about gay-themed subjects before, though this is her first book. To arrive at the conclusion that Zhou was probably gay, she reread already publicly available letters and diaries Zhou and his wife, Deng Ying Chao, wrote, including ones that detailed Zhou's fondness for a schoolmate and emotional detachment from his wife. Zhou was premier from the revolution in October 1949 that brought the Communist Party to power until his death from cancer in 1976, a few months before the death of his revolutionary colleague Mao Zedong, the founder of modern China. More than 1 million refugees and migrants arrived in Europe by sea in 2015, while almost 4,000 died or went missing in perilous journeys, according to the UN's Refugee Agency. Most of the migrants who entered Europe in 2015 came across the Mediterranean or the Aegean Seas, and half were Syrians fleeing the war. Another 20% were Afghans and 7% were Iraqis, the International Organization for Migration and the UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, said in a joint statement on Wednesday. Record movement of people into Europe is a symptom of a record level of disruption around the globe, with numbers of refugees and internally displaced people far surpassing 60 million, UNHCR said last week. The war in Syria was only one amongst many causes, including Ebola and Boko Haram in West Africa, an earthquake in Nepal, conflicts in Libya, Yemen, South Sudan, Central African Republic and Afghanistan, as well as Iraq. Okay, moving along, Texas continued cleaning up from the weekend tornadoes that killed at least 11 people in the Dallas area and damaged about 1,600 structures and homes. More than 40 people were killed by tornadoes and floods during the holiday season over in the United States, where rare winter tornado warnings were issued in Alabama on Monday. Just look at all that destruction. Truly amazing. Elsewhere, the force is definitely with the latest Star Wars installment at the box office, as it crossed the $1 billion mark in ticket sales faster than any other movie in cinematic history. Star Wars: The Force Awakens crossed the $1 billion mark globally with record speed last Sunday, becoming the fastest film to make $1 billion in history. The force is certainly strong with this one, it would seem. Okay, finally, Lemmy Kilmister, frontman for iconic heavy rock trio Motorhead, has died at age 70 after recently being diagnosed with an aggressive cancer, the band said on its Facebook page on Tuesday. Growling, whiskey-drinking, mutton chops-wearing Lemmy was famous for always turning his amplifiers up to the max, for positioning his microphone above his head so that he had to sing looking upwards, and for his rock anthems such as the Motorhead classic Ace of Spades. Lemmy lived in Los Angeles and was controversial for his collection of Nazi memorabilia. And Lemmy, well, he was also Jimi Hendrix's roadie, and he also played in Hawkwind before forming Motorhead in the mid-70s. Rest in peace, Lemmy, one of rock and roll's true legends, has left the building. Okay, so until next time, have a great week and a very happy new year to you all.